Hello and welcome to
Don't Mess with the Mamas.
MOMMAS. And with our motto,
You are the protagonist of your life, not the victim of your destiny.
Today, our episode 33, is called Music to Our Ears. And I'm going to interview Carla Brown because she's a very, very talented lady. She interviewed me a few episodes back on my book, A Day in the Next, Journey from Brooklyn to Buddhism. And now I'm interviewing her on all of her creative exploits. So, Carla, you are a very creative person. How did you, or when did you get that creative spark, and why?
I think it started with writing. My mother wouldn't let us go outside, and she kept us prisoner. And the only place you could go was to the library. So I did a lot of studying, and I ran into Anne Frank, young girl, who was alive during the Holocaust, and she wrote a diary. And I was fortunate enough to read her diary. I don't think I finished all of it, but she made me realize that even though I was 12 or 13, I could still do something.
Wow.
Because when I was raised, I had a mother who couldn't do anything. And everything seemed to be impossible. So this was something that I could do. I could write. I could have my story. And then that just opened the way to other things.
You know, it's interesting what you say, because so many people, and going back to somebody, Stephen Sater, who very, very brilliant playwright, and Spring Awakenings, and he was ill when he was a child and couldn't go out, so he had to do so many things indoors, and your experience is similar to that the only place you can go is a library. So an obstacle became a great benefit in your life, for sure. And that's many, many creative artists started out that way. Okay, so you also love photography. Tell us about that experience.
I don't know how I got into photography, to be honest, but I liked film, I liked movies, and I got a camera, and the writing and the photography went together. Because I remember I was in school and they wanted us to do something. So with writing and showing pictures, so I was able to take photos of certain situations and write about what they were, about.
Tell us about that experience where you walked, I don't know, you walked miles one day in New York. Tell us about that.
I think I was really depressed this day. Depressed, all get out. And President Keita had said, if you're not happy, create your own happiness. And I said, well, what makes me happy? Taking photographs. So it was the coldest day of the year. I went from the Bronx to Manhattan.
Wow.
Walked across the Brooklyn Bridge, took photographs all the way I was going and all the way I was coming back. And by the time I got back in the house, I was back to myself. So that was it. That helped me to break that depression. And then I was able to go on and solve whatever the other problem was that was causing it,
For those of you who don't know the distance between Bronx and Manhattan and Brooklyn and such, about how many miles did you walk that day?
It must have been at least a good 4. I don't know the span of the Brooklyn Bridge, but that's a long distance.
It is indeed, yeah.
Okay, and you're walking over the East River. So it was a long walk, but I enjoyed it.
How wonderful. Wow, I'm sure those photographs you still remember those photographs.
Yes, I have them.
Yes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So your new venture, and Carla's always having new ventures, is songwriting with AI, using your poetry, your many books of poetry that you've written. Tell us about that, because I tell you, her work is amazing. I mean, when you listen to what she's been doing, it sounds so incredibly professional.
Well, anyway, what happened was this started with photography, all right, and making videos for TikTok. But I didn't have, like, the music that they had only lasted a minute, or it was copyrighted, and I couldn't use the copyrighted material for my stuff. So it just seemed to be a natural transition from doing photography to making music. So then what I decided, I was going to use some of my poetry to make that music with. So I would put my words in and I'd listen for the music. And if the music sounded good and it went good with the words, I put it on TikTok. So I have a few of those videos up, and that's what I'm doing now.
And you're getting some good response.
Oh yes. One song has about over 1,000. A few have over 1,000 likes and listens. So.
And you're just getting started.
I'm just getting
started, yeah. Watch out for her, Carla Brown. So Carla Y. Brown, right?
Yeah, Carla Y. Brown.
Right. Y. Brown? Because it's Carla.
That's right, that's right.
So how have you used your Buddhist practice to ignite and apply your creativity? What would you say to that?
I would say that since I write, and usually they're little short stories, or things that I've experienced in my life. When I've done something, I'm going back and chanting about what's the next story. Or if I'm doing a story, I'll chant it, well, what's the best way to do this? And then I just go. I keep going until I'm finished, until I'm happy with it. So it's always going back to the Gohonzon, chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, like and sometimes a story will come, but I won't recognize it right away, but it will just stay in my head, and then I'll realize, oh, that's the story. Now I know what I'm doing. And so I try to give a good spin. It could be something that's controversial, but I try to give it a good spin, a positive ending. So.
And you have, her songs are wonderful. I love the 10 worlds.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, wonderful. And we actually did a podcast on that, from hell to enlightenment and everything in between. And then Carla turned the 10 worlds into a song, and it's great.
And it came one night, 10 worlds. And I said, okay, 10 worlds. Got up the next morning and, realized, looked up what the 10 worlds were: hell, hunger, anger, animality, humanity, heaven, learning, realization, bodhisattva, and Buddhahood. I got all 10, all right? And another thing that happened was in relationships, you're with somebody, maybe you don't want to experience this part of them, this aspect of them, but they have all 10 worlds. So if you're going to love somebody, you have to love all 10 of them, okay? All 10 of them. You can't exclude them,
right. I love it.
Yeah.
So what message would you like to leave people, and especially people who are aspiring, who are creative, and everybody is creative in some way, absolutely. So what message would you like to leave people, advice? Well,
I would say for anybody who's creative, check out Julia Cameron's and The Artist's Way, because she gives you exercises. Because sometimes we think, oh, I'm not creative, I can't do this, I can't, and we put off doing what we need to do. And she has exercises that help you to get yourself through the gate to get to your goal. So, and that helped me a lot when I was going to school.
Wonderful. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say before we give our encouraging words, which we always leave you with, because we always want you to be encouraged throughout your day, throughout your life?
Don't give up on yourself. And we're creative in so many ways. My creativity was when I was real young. I have $50. I gotta turn this $50 into $100 and do so many different things with it. And I could get really upset about that, or I could make it a challenge, make it a game, so it was easier for me to do, you know. So
I love
you
that.
use creativity in so many different ways.
Yes.
Never think that you're not a creative person, because you are.
Absolutely. I love that message. That's wonderful. Okay, so leaving you, all our wonderful listeners and viewers, since we are on TikTok and YouTube, our full podcasts now, as well as Apple TV, Apple and Amazon and Spotify on audio. So this is encouraging words that we get from our international president, Daisaku Ikeda, who since passed away, but has left us with so many, you know, words of encouragement and books and etc. dialogues. Where is happiness to be found? The famous Roman philosopher Emperor Marcus Aurelius said, "A man's true delight is to do the things he was truly made for. Human happiness," he maintained, "lies in doing things only humans can, seeking the truth and acting to help those who are suffering." Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, too, asserted that those who work cheerfully and take joy in the fruits of their labor are truly happy. These are the words of great thinkers, and as you can see, are in complete accord with the teachings of Buddhism. So once again, don't forget to listen to us. We are
Don't Mess with the Mamas.
MOMMAS. And you are the
protagonist of your life, not the victim of your destiny.
And we'd love to hear from you and even interview you if you'd like. We are found on mamas, MOMMAS podcast@gmail.com. And listen to us and view us on YouTube and TikTok. Thank you so much for listening and viewing, and
Bye-bye.
bye for now. Bye-bye.